Welcome to a section where we will learn how to recover dropped tables. And for that, we are going to use the recycle bin, which is part of an Oracle database. So first, before we go with our example, we have to enable the recycle bin for our session. Although this is by the default enabled, let's just execute the alter session and set the recycle bin on just to be sure. So my session is altered and I'm now sure that the recycle bin is in function. So for example, I'm gonna create a table and just insert one row to it, right? So let's create the table, insert one row, and let's commit that data, right? If I check that table, we can see that we have one row present, right? Now I'm gonna drop that table, and if I try to query from it, of course, this query is gonna fail as the table does not exist anymore. But I can check the recycle bin from the user recycle bin, and we can see that indeed that table is present in the recycle bin. We can see when it was dropped, if we can undrop it, or if we can purge it, as in delete it forever. Have in mind that the user recycle bin is the synonym as the recycle bin, and this query is completely the same. Now, to recover that table before the drop, the syntax is as following. It's flashback table, the name of the table we are going to recover, and to which point we want to recover it. This is before the drop, right? So when I execute, we get that the flashback has been successful, and now we can check the table, and we can see that indeed that table exists, and it has all of the content present. If we check the recycle bin, this table is not present anymore. If we want to make sure that we cannot recover the table from the recycle bin, we have to purge it. And we do that with a purge table statement. So once again, I'm going to drop my table, right? If we check the recycle bin, it is there. And if you try to query from it, this is going to fail. To delete that table from the recycle bin, we use the purge table and the name of the table. So if I execute this query, my table has been purged. And if I check the recycle bin, it is not present anymore. We can also purge the complete recycle bin with the command purge recycle bin. So when I execute purge recycle bin, all of the content of the recycle bin will be completely deleted. So any other table that we could have recovered will be unavailable. Another thing we're going to cover in this lesson is that we can recover the table from the recycle bin, but rename it right away when we do the recover. This can be handy when we do not want, for example, an end user to know that table is again available, but we want to check the whole content now. So again, I'm going to recreate that table, right? So my table is now again present. I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to check if it's in the recycle bin, right? It is here. Now, with my flashback table statement, I'm going to expand it as rename to and the name I want. So I'm going to rename it just as empty. So when I flashback the table, we can check the recycle bin. Indeed, it's not present anymore from there. If I try to query the original table name, this is not going to be possible, as now that table is present with a new name, in our case named empty. And if I check the content, we can see that indeed all of the content of that table is present now under a new table name. Very nice. Just remember, when we recover the table, we also recover the indexes and the constraints of it, of course with some limitations. But this is out of the scope of this course and the actual exam. However, be sure to check the lesson resources and practice this out. This is it for this lesson, and see you in the next one.